What's going on, everybody? Let me know if you can see me and hear me as we get in here. The latest fantasy football live stream mock draft. Beginning in a matter of moments, we just want to find a way to get everybody in here and first make sure the stream is operating. Getting some ugly readings from the broadcast software, but hopefully that settles down and we can proceed. I have a couple of house cleaning items I have to get completed before we are really able to get rolling. Pulled up on YouTube, and I will post the link to the draft room on. Excuse the double play there. Make sure to give this a like if you're in here, just to help us out, get the word out to folks, and I'll be able to hopefully monitor what we're seeing on a live basis. It seems like we're improving steadily, but still with a bunch of dropped frame rate. But anyway, we'll try to get things going here. I will mark, by the way, if you're tuning in and going, well, when does the draft begin? I will mark the timestamp in the video, in the live stream, if you're watching back, when we started the draft. So you can just skip ahead to that part. Go down to the video description and click that if you are watching this back. Otherwise, we just need a few more people to join the draft. And the way that I will make that happen is by posting the link to Sleeper in YouTube. So if you're on YouTube watching this live, check it out. Give me 1 second, and I will actually drop the link so you can draft with us live on Sleeper and YouTube. So if you're in the YouTube stream, you're just hopping in, that's the link right there. That's what you need. What the hell is going on? My laptop is plugged in, but it's like not wanting to charge, which would not be great. Hopefully that is no issue there. All right. Yeah, we'll try to wait a couple of minutes to get a couple more people in here to draft with us. We got it mostly filled already. But the link is, and I'll go ahead and put it too on the back end. It's going to be in the video description. It's going to be in the live chat. And that way, if we can get it filled, we can draft, and we'll just see where that takes us. Some nights we do multiple. Some nights we just do one. I double back to Twitter to make sure. Let's see. We've got a couple teams left. Looks like 4. So I'll double back. I'll tweet it out to people. I've put it in the YouTube stream. If you're watching live, click the link in the live chat. It's the first chat in there. You can draft with us right now on Sleeper for this video. We've got 4 spots left. Posting that. And then I'll post the link to watch on YouTube. This is just the kind of house cleaning stuff I have to do at the beginning. If I had a little bit more rocking and rolling, we'd be able to probably have it filled. But I think as we get closer to the end of August, people are going to be ready to do more drafting, and so it gets filled faster and faster. If you're not in the Discord, let me know. I will make sure to get you in. If you send me a message on Twitter at bschaefer12. And we'll get started here soon. Just have to do all the different ways I can to potentially get us going. I think we're really close now. Because we don't have to necessarily go with 12. We'd like to. But it's not a requirement. But I'll give all those links like 2 or 3 minutes. And if we don't add anybody, then we'll go with the 8 that we have. And we'll do a 12-team PPR mock draft. It'll be quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex. I think I have it set for 5 bench spots, if I'm not mistaken. Let me know if it sounds okay, by the way. Anybody that's in the YouTube stream, let me know if the audio is okay. Sometimes we have some issues with that, too. Give it a like on the stream, and somebody give me a confirmation on the audio. And after that, we can probably just go ahead and draft. It's kind of late at night, but then again, sometimes late at night is when people are surfing their social media, and they say, hey, let's jump in and do a mock draft. So you just never can tell when the right time to post something like this would be. But we'll be able to get started here in just a couple of minutes. At least the 8 we have looks to be mostly everybody in and ready. Oh, did we get a 9th one? No, we didn't. I'm bad at counting. That's fine. We did. Now we're up to 10, just like that. See? Patience is a virtue. 10's good. My camera on the stream is kind of blocking the sleeper chat. That's down in the corner there. If anybody has a suggestion on the best spot to put my camera, that's like the least important part of it, which I realize. But I do feel like for YouTube, they want you to kind of do some video stuff. And so to have at least the video on there feels like the right move. But I could be wrong about that. But if anybody has suggestions, I am wide open to them. But I do enjoy making these streams, and so figure why not. The Dad 8. Is that your handle? He's fired up. So everybody, hey, full PPR. We're going to go 30-second clock on picks. I want to make sure I have the settings right on that. What if I could get Caleb in here? Because he usually will join. I would love to have 12. Yep, 30-second clock, so that's already taken care of. The link is in there in the YouTube chat as well. Austin's changing spots on us, which is fine. You can grab any spot that's open. I'm going to draft from the left side of the board this time. I really don't feel as comfortable drafting early. I really do not. And Caleb's going to join us, so that should make for 11. I said, hey, you want to mock? It's live on YouTube. And he responded, ABM, which between me and him, that's our code. That's always be mocking, because we're doing a lot of mock drafts this time of year. X is over capacity. Well, they legitimately won't. They don't want me to send a link on YouTube to Caleb. That's Elon Musk that's just him trying to control what's going on out here. Twitter will not let me send this link. I've never seen anything like it. No kidding. Did we fill up before Caleb got in? No way. That sucks. Well, I'm not going to kick anybody out. Caleb will get priority next time. But yeah, we did fill it up. So let me delete my tweets so that people aren't still thinking they can jump in. Actually, screw it. Let's keep it out there, because maybe more people will want to join the next one. Okay, we're ready. We're going to start this thing. Make sure my sound is on but not overbearing. We are filled. Please draft when it's your turn, but you have 30 seconds, so use it as you will. And we're going to go ahead and begin. The dad's going to kick us off. 12-team PPR mock draft here on Sleeper. Jamar Chase is off the board, and we are underway. Excited to get into this. I am up now already, drafting from the 1.3. I made the comment, I am uncomfortable this year drafting from the early portion of the first round. You're going to get a great player, but for whatever reason, the later rounds of the draft evade me in a way that makes me very uncomfortable. So I'm going to enjoy drafting either Jahmyr Gibbs or CeeDee Lamb probably here with my first pick. It's going to be Gibbs. But after that, folks, I'm challenging myself, because if I end up, I don't know where my personal draft slot will be in my own leagues, which, by the way, I have leagues available. DM at bschaefer12 on Twitter. It's the same as my the YouTube handle for this channel, youtube.com/@bschaeferffb. I'm bschaefer12 on Twitter. I've got leagues available that have some openings. I got to fill these. I keep saying, I'll get to it. It's been a couple days, and I've gotten a little bit behind on that. But this weekend, I need to try to lock it in. But let's lock in on what's going on with our draft right now. Chase, Bijan, Gibbs, Barkley, Lamb, Jefferson. Let me talk about my decision for Gibbs over Barkley. There's not any good rhyme or reason for it. I just have to go down swinging with my guy, and by God, Jahmyr Gibbs is my guy. I just think he's a stud. The workload is interesting because on the one hand, there's risk that he, again, it's not even risk, it's just reality that he's going to share more with David Montgomery than like a Saquon will have to share with, Will Shipley. But I don't know, a big workload for Barkley last year. I'm not sitting here going, oh, he's going to get hurt, but just something about it. I feel, and it is full PPR, not that Barkley can't catch the ball, but I think Gibbs probably ends up with more targets. And so that was part of the decision as well. I wonder if that's even true, though. 33 receptions last year for Saquon, 52 for Gibbs. So, I mean, that's a 19-point difference over the course of a season. That's about a point per game. The touchdown deficit, I mean, Gibbs can score touchdowns. Saquon was unbelievable last year. But I'm probably not drafting Saquon over Gibbs if I had the choice this year. Love Lamb and Jefferson as PPR picks. Derrick Henry goes relatively early for PPR. That's an interesting pick. I didn't get a chance to look at Sleeper as to how high Derrick Henry was on the ADP, but for full PPR, that's interesting because he's not a huge volume guy through the air. Amon-Ra is a great PPR pick. I love Neighbors at 9 from Sonny. Brian Thomas is a stud. McCaffrey is a really good pick at the back end of the first round. Every day that passes, the more I'm convinced of it. So he's the 5th running back off the board and certainly has RB1 upside. And in PPR, you cannot. I mean, they're just going to pepper him with targets. Him and Brock Purdy are going to have that connection. If CMC's healthy, it's a great spot. Catching my eye is Devon Achane going 2.7. Soft tissue injury, they're saying. Not 100% for week 1. Maybe he'll be fine. Maybe he won't be. That's scary, but it drops him half a round, basically. He was going at the turn, and now he's going in the middle of the second. I would still draft him there. Yeah, I mean, I would have drafted him probably. I mean, Genty was a great value at 2.5. I would have probably taken Achane, if I was facing that choice at 2.5, I probably do lean Genty for the moment. The injury stuff has maybe scared me. That being said, though, I'm on the block, or on the clock, I should say. Let me make a pick here. Josh Allen's up there. Johnny Taylor. Give me Chase Brown. People have really been moving Chase Brown up the boards, and I really like him. So just because I had kind of been talking through my pick, let me lock in with a player that I like. And that's just the same as, like, Taylor could project better than Chase Brown. But I have to be, when I'm on the clock, I'm taking a player that he's got to be on my team all year. Don't click a player you don't want to draft. It seems so obvious, but it also, I think, is very valuable fantasy advice. Don't click on a player's name that you don't want to draft on your fantasy team. Plain and simple. Brock Bowers is long gone, but Trey McBride is still there if we wanted to go elite tight end in that capacity. I don't do this much. Ladd McConkey is staring me in the eyeballs, though. Boy, oh boy. Give me Ladd. Give me Ladd. I mean, look, McBride, I kind of want to test out elite tight end this year. I think there could be an advantage to that if you build your roster the right way. Normally, I'm kind of going hero RB, and when I do that, it's like, okay, let's grab a Bowers, let's grab a maybe a Trey McBride if the price is right. But and he does end up going middle of the third to the Achane buyer. And that's an interesting team start there for Isaac. You got Jay Jettas, who could be the wide receiver one. Achane could be the RB one. And I don't think McBride will be the tight end one, but he's a pretty good bet to be the tight end too. So nice diversity there. I'm going double hero RB in this draft. It kind of happened that way. The RB run was clear from Achane all the way to James Cook in this draft. People are recognizing that, man, I don't want to leave those first 3 rounds without getting a locked and loaded RB1 at least. And what happened here is the teams that are on the early portion of the round, we waited and we waited. We took Bijan, we took our Gibbs, we took our Saquon. But then all 3 of us that went RB early in the first come back around and take another one. And the reasoning for that is interesting. Like, McConkey makes it all the way to me at the 3rd pick of the 3rd round. I think he's a late 2nd round talent or a mid-2nd round receiver. He's the very next receiver that went off the board after A.J. Brown. So, like, I don't think there's a real huge distinction between those two. Brown is ranked higher. I mean, he's drafted earlier most of the time. But it's not like McConkey, there's this huge drop-off from A.J. Brown or JSN. I mean, Smith and Jigba went 2.4. I would take McConkey over JSN. So, I feel like I got really good value there with Jackson Smith, with Ladd McConkey, a player that I really, really do like. But the RB run was interesting. And I don't think anybody got poor value. Maybe I did. Maybe I reached on Chase Brown, but he's often going around that 2-3 turn. So I'm going to sleep pretty well knowing that I basically said I've got 2 running backs that are going to catch the football, but that's double hero. You won't catch me taking another running back until, man, it'll be, I'm going to try to wait it out until the double-digit rounds, and we'll see at that point even. Doing some more evaluations on what we're seeing. Big RB run means quarterback weighted. So Allen was a consideration for me in the 2nd round, but again, remember, I was kind of talking through my pick and not realizing it, and so I had to hurry, and I knew I saw Chase Brown. I said, look, when you're panicking and there's a name that you see, screw ADP, screw it all. If there's a name that you see that you know that you have been comfortable drafting in mocks, click his name. You will not regret it. As long as you know that in your heart, you're like, yes, that's a guy that I know, that's my guy, just take him. I'm going to shut up now and take a look at what I need to do. I've got wide receivers highlighted because that's probably what I need to be doing. The Breece Hall thing is interesting. The 2 teams to my left have 2 running backs. So does Breece Hall fall even further? Devontae Adams is a receiver that I certainly like, but is there something about that Stafford thing, huh? I'm going to reach a little bit. I'm going to take Xavier Worthy, and I want to see what happens here. Tet McMillan goes right thereafter. That was the name that I wanted to see. It's one of those things where, sure, I could have taken him at the 4.10. That was the other receiver I would have considered. But I also like to look. I'm like, don't let me be, this is a mock draft. So if I'm evaluating, I'm like, I want to see, does Ted McMillan make it back to me early 5th? And if he doesn't, well, we're not playing this league. So I learned information. I'm like, there's somebody out there that says, you saw how quick Team 2 drafted McMillan. He didn't wait a second after I clicked Worthy. That tells you, like, okay, that you weren't getting him, Brendan. He wasn't coming back to you, and you have to kind of be aware of that. Breece Hall, I know I said I wasn't going to. Yeah, I'm not going to either. Whoops. Well, I guess I am because I missed my pick. That's okay, though. I was going to click Smith, and I had said I wasn't going to take another receiver, but I waited I had said I wasn't taking another running back until round 10. And then here we are in round 5 taking one. How did that happen? How did we get here? The Breece Hall thing is really interesting. I think he's a great value in the 5th round. I'm kind of sitting here going, man, I wish if knowing what I know now, would I have gone like a Josh Allen in the 2nd round and then McConkey instead of Chase Brown? Because I had said I'm going double hero RB. Well, clearly this has gone from double hero to a very robust RB build where I'm probably starting a running back in my flex, at least at the beginning of the year. Let's talk about the Breece Hall thing, though, because he seems to be like toxic right now to fantasy drafters. Can somebody in the comments explain to me why? Because, yes, I did auto-pick him, but it was only because of the build that I was outwardly saying I wanted to go for, which was to stock up on wide receivers after taking 2 running backs early. But I had made the commentary when I was on the clock. And again, in your real league, you're probably not looking at a 30-second clock. It's probably 60 or maybe 2 minutes when you're drafting with your buddies. And so I didn't really have a lot of time to kind of talk through all this or think through it. But it was my process in round 4 was McMillan, Worthy. Ooh, can I get McMillan to come back to me? And then obviously quickly I found out, no, if you want Teterow and McMillan, you better be ready to spend up to get him. Like that was kind of what we learned there with that pick. Love Xavier Worthy. Don't get me wrong. What was the best way for me to get both? Maybe is to go McMillan first. Maybe it's not possible to get both. Maybe the team 2 would have taken Worthy just as quick as he took Teterow if I had gone the other way. But as I was talking through that, I said the teams to the left of me both have 2 running backs, so they're not really going to be in the Breece Hall conversation either. There are probably teams way to the right of me. Art Lippo's drafting now, and he's content to continue going receiver. But I think Breece Hall would have been a guy that, somebody on the right half of the board that maybe needed a running back could have seen some value in taking. He's a 4th-round name to me for sure. Like, when I think about a running back tier, you saw that big run in round 2. People were saying, hey, let's get ours and let's get out. And then those teams are going to be pounding receivers as they go along. But after James Cook, and really James Cook to me is more, would I rather have Breece Hall or James Cook this year? It is a coin flip. And so I'm getting Breece Hall 2 rounds later than James Cook went. I don't think he's a bad pick into the early 3rd, but, that's kind of wild. And then you see a big, long break, right? James Cook goes. The rest of the 3rd round happens. No running backs. Kamara goes early 4th. I think he's a little, kind of RB dead zone-y for me. Good floor. Certainly in PPR, you get away with him. Ken Walker, I mean, he kind of feels similar to Breece Hall, except for Ken Walker's actually injured right now. I don't think there's anything wrong with Breece Hall unless I'm missing something. And so it's like, is it just kind of vibes that aren't good for Breece Hall right now? Because a couple months ago, I was like, ooh, I'm into Breece Hall this year. Is it the Jets offense people don't want? I don't know. Omarion Hampton, really exciting. Rookie, I'm not going to argue with that. That's never like that dead zone category to me. But I think James Cook, Omarion Hampton, Breece Hall, Ken Walker, that's kind of the same tier. But after Breece Hall, there's not a running back that I want other than Travion Henderson. And by the time drafts happen, Henderson's probably being drafted right next to Breece Hall, next to Hampton, next to Walker. People are going crazy right now for Travion Henderson, rightfully so. But Hubbard, Chuba Hubbard's fine. James Conner, I'm just not going to be drafting him. The age cliff is something that I have concern with there. Montgomery is fine, but I've got Gibbs, so I wouldn't be doing that. And look, I really, really, really like what happened here. I'm going to be able to grab Zay Flowers as my 3rd receiver. My hope is that I still have a receiver in the flex, honestly, that I feel good about. And Breece Hall, I can kind of sit back and go, is he getting traded? Is something weird going down? What do I need to do here? I spent a lot of time just making sure Zay was the pick I wanted, and he was. So I'm actually feeling even better about the Breece Hall thing now that I found out I get Zay Flowers back of the 5th, or back of the 6th round, rather. But I'll be damned if Team 2, what is that? Lil Colt? Lil Colt is sniping me all left and right here, because Adunze would have been the guy I would have said, hey, can he get back to 7.3? Normally, Adunze would be my pick there at 6.10. But Flowers I've got ranked higher, and he fell. I mean, that's an ADP gift. So I feel very, very good about my top 6. In PPR, I do not need a 3rd running back. I always would prefer a receiver in my flex. And obviously, y'all may have seen if you're watching on stream, I tried to click Devontae Smith. I took too long. But the reason I took too long was because I was going, if I get auto-picked here and it's Breece Hall, then so be it. Excuse me, because I think that's a crazy value in the 5th round. And what it's going to do is really embolden me to maybe take one more running back, if that. If I do, I already know who the name's going to be that I would like to target to kind of vibe with the team I'm building. But let's talk about this current pick. Addison's top of ADP for wide receivers. I said I want a receiver in my flex. This actually really, really works. because he's only suspended 3 games, and Breece Hall can be my flex week 1. I mean, that's fine. Godwin, Debo, Kupp, Shakir, Diggs. It's Jordan Addison for me. I've clicked it. Yeah, if I do have a delay where I've already clicked it, I will try to pause it and get it fixed, but hopefully I'll be able to avoid that. My internet might be getting tested here. The dad says, time got me and I missed Igbuka. Damn. Yeah, Low Colt has identified some interesting receivers. So I want to talk about that team for a second. I want to talk about some of the teams in the middle as well when I get a moment. As, Mixon is one of those dead zone guys for me, but when he falls to the 7th, he becomes more interesting. I feel like Team 4 basically said what I had said about Breece, where it's like, dude, I've got Barkley and Jacobs, but if you're going to give me Mixon in the 7th, then I have to reconsider a third running back. They've already got a quarterback. They've already got a tight end. We'll see. I want to see what their receivers end up looking like because they were very close to also not having Devontae Smith. But Team 2, man, you go Bijan, Jonathan Taylor. Those are 2 smash running backs. You get the best quarterback because of the RB run that happened in the second round. You're going to take advantage there with Josh Allen. McMillan, Odunze, Igbuka. And like Sutton, I'm take him or leave him. I would have taken Devontae Smith over Sutton for sure. I probably would have taken Jameson Williams over Sutton. But it's, perfectly defensible pick. And now you're talking about having that locked in 3 wide receivers and you have a receiver in your flex. The problem is, maybe it's not a problem at all, but what does Igbuka end up being for the early portion of the season? Does he get on the field? He's a talent. He's going to be, you get him. In the 7th round, especially if you feel like I can kind of get by without having to start him right away. I wouldn't want to start Igbuka week 1 unless we hear like some really, really encouraging signs about depth chart stuff, but you want him on your team because by the middle of the season, you're going to be locking him in your lineup. So I'm complimenting Lil Colt for identifying some wide receivers that he did not prioritize that position first 3 rounds, but you can see how still building to that, especially in PPR, very interesting build that I'll be following to see if he sticks the landing. Other teams that jump out to me. I like this little Genty Hampton Henderson thing. It's not enough receivers for my liking. The teams that are mostly blue right now are going to be the teams that I kind of find sexy because I like to see more wide receivers. I like to see more wide receivers in PPR than I currently have. We all saw how that took place, but I think I'm going to stick the landing too. I feel very good about this team. My point is this: if you're feeling iffy on Breece Hall in the 4th, totally get it. If you can pick him up in the 5th, like imagine somebody that had an opposite build where if it was like Art Lippo, you can go Thomas London. I'm not an Evans guy or necessarily McLaurin guy, but let's say that he ends up with maybe Marvin Harrison was available. I would prefer him over Evans. Garrett Wilson, you could have had if you lock into 4 elite wide receivers and then Breece Hall is sitting there in the 5th, you basically were planning to go 0 RB, but you got a 3rd, 4th round talent, a round and a half or 2 rounds later. He might be nothing for some reason, but I think he's a very good football player. If he's traded, I think that could only help him because the Jets aren't supposed to have a very good offense, right? So I don't know. I'm pretty pumped about the Breece Hall thing because of the fit on my roster, not because I'm not skeeved out. I'm a little bit skeeved out because everybody else seems to be by Breece Hall right now for whatever reason. But where I got him, I am over the moon. All right, Juwan Jennings goes. I've got my 4 receivers. I could start considering the quarterback position. Baker Mayfield's there. I know that this guy probably wants him. No, he's got Allen. Tight end, I could do it. I really don't need to. I'm just going to look at wide receivers again real quick because I do have a suspended one sitting there on my bench right now. Ooh, gotta hurry, B. Gotta hurry. I might take Jaden Reed just because he's sitting there. I know he's kind of banged up, but I think he's in the 8th round, back of the 8th round, a good value. I would take Jaden Reed over probably Kupp, definitely Godwin, probably Mooney. I would take Pearsall over Reed. Jennings probably is Jennings, but that's close. Downs, totally reasonable. I think Anthony Richardson's going to be the starter, and I don't think he can throw the ball very well. So I'm a little bit worried about Colts pass catchers. Their offense will be better. And Low Colt, I believe you have Taylor as well. So that's 2 Colts. That's interesting. But his name is Lil Colt, so I think we probably have identified what's going on there. Another Colt goes off the board with Michael Pittman. Yeah, like I've got receivers I like, but normally I'm looking at Igbuka, all summer long, especially when you're drafted by yourself against a computer. Igbuka's there in the 8th or 9th, and that's not going to be what happens. So you got to adjust. But I would be okay with Jaden Reed on my bench. I've got my 6-pack now, though, don't I? 1, 2. Nope, I've got 5 receivers. So I'll allow myself to draft 1 more and maybe 2 more because I went heavy RB at the beginning. Coleman's a good pick, man. Lil Colt likes all the receivers I like. I could have gone Coleman over Reed. I think I have Reed ranked a little bit higher. Do I just give an FU pick to the draft here with Luther Burden? I very well may. If I had a stack for Baker Mayfield, I'd be over the moon about Baker here. But people are waiting on quarterback. They're pushing quarterback. The QB run probably comes before my next pick. I will take LB3. I don't care that the quarterback run's coming before my next pick. Everybody could pick a quarterback. I just think at this stage in the draft, it's fine. They're all the same. Not the same, but like right now, the 6th one is Dak Prescott. He would be perfectly suitable. I didn't specify because Sleeper doesn't allow you to, whether this is a 4-point pass touchdown or a 6-point pass touchdown league. I think if it's I'll give you advice on that. If you're in a 6-point passing TD league for quarterbacks, the value of the rushing quarterback is a lot lower because the guys that can Kirk Cousins, not now because he's not a starter, but that can Dak Prescott and can, Herbert, can Matt Stafford their way in his prime to a bunch of passing touchdowns, Baker certainly. Well, the passing TDs are going to be worth the same as the rushing ones, so you're not really going to overvalue. In 4-point pass TD, though, Allen, Lamar, Daniels, Hurts, that's the tier. I think Burrow, unless you're stacking him with a Bengal because you just want to ride the roller coaster, and it will be very enjoyable if you had, a Burrow Chase or a Burrow T. Higgins type of stack. I would say that Burrow is overdrafted for my liking because that's kind of the tier where you need to be hitting wide receiver, in my opinion. Burrow and Mahomes, I think, are both going to be very, very good for fantasy. I can say that while simultaneously believing you're going to get better value by drafting a quarterback. Like, if y'all want, I will make quarterback my last pick. I am not at all uncomfortable doing that. What I am comfortable doing is knowing that I've locked in 6 wide receivers before double-digit rounds come around, and it feels like, there's not receivers that I'm really clamoring for anymore anyway. So I'm glad that I've approached it this way. Trey Harris, okay, Christian Kirk. If I want a receiver on my bench at this point, it's got to be a young guy that could ascend. That's Luther Burden. That's Jordan Addison. That's not really Jaden Reed, but could be because there's a lot of volatility with that Green Bay receiving core. We just don't know who's going to be the go-to. In theory, the fact that they haven't really had one established yet tells you it's probably the rookie Matthew Golden, and that would be the guy I would want, but I know he's long gone too. Where'd he go? Yeah, he went middle of the 7th. So I apologize that I haven't really kind of been able to talk individually about everybody's team. I will do it at the end. If you stick around in the stream, please do like the stream, by the way. Be commenting, be liking on YouTube. Those sorts of things, extremely helpful to trying to get this channel. This channel was buzzing last year, and I just don't think it's going to really happen this year. But I enjoy doing these, and so that's the main thing. But if y'all would put a like on it on YouTube, that would be freaking huge because I appreciate that. So I see from Cody suggesting, ooh, shoot, is that me? Am I up? No, I hope not. Cody suggesting where maybe I would put the video. Could put it where the queue is. Yeah, I'll move it there, and you tell me what you think. It just looks awkward there to me. It would be kind of fun if people could see the chat. I guess in theory, nobody can really read the stats of the players in the next player up. So, making the video bigger, probably you can get away with that. Let me know if that's better, worse. It's kind of clunky, but I'll leave it there for now, and people can let me know what they think. I'm very excited to have the Mizzou guy, Luther Burden. He's the type of guy, I just want to identify, he's what I want on my bench. Is he going to be a guy in year 1 as a rookie? I don't know. But if he is, I draft him in the 9th round. Draft upside, right? Let's look at 9th round picks. Is Ayuk upside? Not really. I would be drafting Ayuk if I were needing him for my lineup, which maybe this guy does, because if he took Jennings and Ayuk comes back, then, but then you're kind of like deciding weekly which one to start. That could be tricky. Ramondre Stevenson. I don't like that pick for team 6 because you have Achane, Pacheco, Dobbins. Did you need a 4th running back? How was that serving you? I'm not sure that it does. But again, some people like to be very, very safe at running back and make sure they have plenty. That's not usually my approach. But are we getting close to the time where I should draft another one? Not really. I could. Quarterback. Let's see. The 2 teams to my left have one. I shouldn't be looking quarterback right here. But I also don't really know what else I want. Let's stand on business. Ooh, I could take Pitts or I could take Evan Ingram. Let's take Ingram. I was gonna stand on business and I totally didn't. Kyle Pitts, I'm okay with Kyle Pitts in a double-digit round this year. I think they're gonna throw the ball a ton in that offense. Honestly, kind of wish I took him and then just waited and took Penix for my quarterback. Where's Penix? He's way down there. Should have just done that. I don't even like Evan Ingram. Click players that you want to have on your team. Now I talked up Pitts, so he gets taken. Trey Benson goes as well. That was one of the running backs that if I was going to take another one, it would have been him. But I didn't. Okay. And now here's something else, too, that I was thinking about all the way back in round 3 when I took McConkey. If I had taken Trey McBride, the Kyler stack would have been very, very tempting. I'm going to just not take the quarterback here, though. I'm going to reach... I am going to reach way ahead of ADP. I'm going to take Braylon Allen at running back. It's going to be the last running back I take. My thought here is like, if the weirdness about Brees is founded, all right, then Braylon Allen should be really, really good. If it's unfounded, then whatever. This is a bench spot, and I don't really care. I've got a handcuff for a running back that's considered to be pretty volatile. And, like, I probably could have got Braylon Allen in the 12th round, but because I had the Brees thing going on, I had already kind of decided if that'll be the last running back that I draft. And I don't really care about reaching on ADP because think about it. In November or December, when you're like grinding to try to make the fantasy playoffs, are you going to remember if you took Braylon Allen in the 11th or the 13th? Or are you just going to remember that, like, shoot, I'm glad I have him if Brees Hall's hurt? You know what I mean? That's not me saying, like, you should always draft a handcuff. But in this particular instance, where I kind of promised everybody I would wait on quarterback just to show you how little I think it matters this year. Although the quarterback run has come. Caleb and Kyler are 2 of the guys I really liked best. Herbert would have been stacked with my guy. Now I'm really wishing I had done the Kyle Pitts thing because I would have just stacked Penix and it would have been fine. But I'll look at quarterbacks just so you guys, like Brock Purdy probably should be taken by the team that had all those 49er guys, Jennings and Ayuk, but he's auto-drafting at this point. He took 2 quarterbacks, which is weird, but he auto-drafted. But like Stroud, Dak, Brock Purdy, Drake May, flip everybody the double birds and just take Justin Fields and say we're going to run the ball. Like he's going to run the ball. Trevor Lawrence, you could be taking him. Excuse me. If you have your Brian Thomas or your Travis Hunter and you want to get a fun little stack late, there's Bryce Young. I mean, if you have Tedero and McMillan, go Bryce Young. I think it's a very fun year to be playing Superflex. I can't wait for my Superflex league, which I also think might have a spot open. If you send me a DM on Twitter about that, might be able to get you in. It's an auction draft, 14 teams. It's insane. It's insane because every quarterback is taken and even backups are taken. But our bench only has still like 4 or 5 spots. It's nuts. And it's a PPR. So yeah, I didn't take a quarterback. Everybody's taking a backup now, which I don't know. Maybe people will take a backup in real drafts. Team 6 and 7, these guys right here. Who's that? 5 and 6. They were just taking their starting quarterback, and that's great value. I mean, if you get Caleb and Kyler in the 11th round, you have built yourself a good team because you waited and knew that like those guys could outscore Goff, they could outscore Mayfield, they could outscore Bo Nix, they could outscore Mahomes. I mean, really, both have more rushing upside, I think, than Mahomes does. So I think those are really savvy picks late. And like in reality, that's obviously a better pick than Braylon Allen for me in the 11th round. But I had already kind of said, hey, I'm going to wait and just draft whoever at the end. because I just don't really care because I like all the options. Well, I said that was gonna be my last running back. I don't need another running back. There's plenty to take that are fun. Do I have any handcuffs I should take? Not really. I can take another receiver. That's fine. I'll stay true to my word on let's take Pop Douglas.
Come on.
I clicked it. There you go. No rhyme or reason for that. I mean, I guess if Drake May's still there, maybe I'll pick him. But I don't know. I just think he's a younger receiver that has upside. If I'm drafting people, normally the bench for me, once I get my lock and loaded 6 receivers, I really probably should have done another running back. But I had already blown a lot of smoke about how I wasn't going to do it. Fields is interesting. He can't throw the ball, but he can run. And we know he's the starter, so screw it. You know, let's just say we're going to draft the entire backfield for the Jets, including the quarterback. Because you gave him to me in the last round. There was a point in time this summer when I was taking Fields in probably like the 10th. Just because I'm like, oh, that's easy rushing upside. Like, Anthony Richardson is interesting to me for fantasy because if he's a starter, he will get picked up and he will produce for fantasy. But we don't know if he beats out Daniel Jones. We know Fields is starting for the Jets. So, you know, is Purdy a better pick, safer pick, especially if it's 6-point passing touchdowns? For sure. Drake May, I could stack him with Pop Douglas. Pop Douglas has never seen the field for my team. I should have taken Algier. I should have taken Ray Davis. I should have taken Garendo over Pop Douglas. Draft your 6 receivers, Brendan, and get out. And stop telling people you're not going to take more running backs because it doesn't impress them and they don't care. See, we're learning as we go here. All right. Once this pick is made by Ren, we will evaluate teams. So stay tuned. I'm going to try to run through everybody's team quickly. All right. Team 1. Let me make sure I'm still on camera here. Like the stream if you can, guys. Because that would be awesome. And stick around too. We'll do one more draft. I think we'll try to do one more draft if enough people stay. All right. Team 1, I always look at receivers first for PPR. Chase, Adams, Metcalf, Myers, Pittman, Leggett. That's fine. I mean, Chase is obviously a stud. There's not the youthful upside to the receiving core that I would like for, you know, the 4th, 5th, and 6th receiver, and even the second one when you're talking about Adams. Kyron and Cook, Pollard, Benson. I like Benson and Ray Davis off the bench. I like that you waited on quarterback once you didn't get one of the top 4, and Kyle Pitts is a good tight end. Fringe playoff team. Not over the moon about it, but a fringe playoff team. This team is a playoff team. Allen, I love the 2 running backs, Bijan and Taylor. McMillan, Sutton, Odunze, Egbuka. You grab guys like Downs and Coleman that can like also be upside. Your flex spot week 1 might be a question mark. Maybe you shove in Jordan Mason and hope to fall into the end zone with a touchdown if he's the goal line back. But I think by week 5 or 6, you're really knowing which of the Coleman, Downs, Egbuka contingent is really reliable. And your top 3 receivers are. You got the number 1 quarterback. You got Theo Johnson, who I actually really like as a late stab at tight end. Nicely done there. And the bench running backs are solid. Very good draft by Lil Colt. Evaluate myself real quick. McConkey, Worthy, Flowers, Addison, Reed, Burden. It's not a super, super great receiving core, but I like it probably better than I'll like most receiving cores in this league just because I picked it, so I picked the guys I like. But like Reed is not on a lot of my teams, but guys like Addison, Flowers, Worthy, McConkey, those are always guys that I'm enjoying to take. But my running backs are unbelievable. I mean, Gibbs, Brown, and Breece Hall with his handcuff. If Breece Hall is traded and Braylon Allen starting for the Jets, that is 4 unbelievable running backs. I will have a field day trading with this roster. That would be fun. Ingram, I don't care about him, but I think he fell later than he should. He's going to see a lot of targets. I'm a playoff team. I can't imagine, unless I hated my draft, doing one of these and telling you that I'm not making the playoffs, but I think I would have. Saquon Jacobs, I just like, that's obviously a very great running back start. If I'm going double RB to start, I'm not taking either of those guys, so it's hard for me to say I love this team. And too many Niners, so that's not one that I'm crazy about as a team. But he started auto drafting too, so you can't really judge it. Lamb, Tyreek, DJ Moore, Ridley, Cup. I like the receivers well enough. It's fine. It's gonna need some help, I think, though. Achane, Pacheco. I like the first 2, but I mentioned it. I just don't like going Dobbins, Stevenson. If you've already got 2 running backs, I think that's a mistake. to take like very low upside running backs. But look, last year that worked for people. People were taking mid running backs who are old and they just kept falling into the end zone. And so it worked out great. But that would be a reason that I would fade that. And then receiver is just not deep enough. Jefferson's great, but Rice is going to miss half the season potentially. Judy is fine. It's not terrible. I mean, if Golden hits, I'm going to be regretting. And Kyler was a great pick late. So that's a fringe playoff team. I think I like that maybe a little bit more than Team 1. It's close. Nah, I don't know. Team 1's probably better. Let's see here. We're up to Team 7. Henry, Connor, ETN, White. That is the most risky running. For like still having spent real draft capital, you didn't go 0 RB by any means. You took 2 in the first 5 rounds. Not super fond of the running back direction that you went here. But boy, oh boy, did you get value at receiver. I mean, to get Waddle in the 6th, like I was drafting over here in the 6th. I didn't even realize Waddle had made it that late. That would have pissed me off if I was like sitting right here. I would have been like, whoa, I almost had Jalen Waddle. Yeah, going A.J. Brown, Waddle, Diggs. Christian Kirk is a very, very good wide receiver pick for kind of not prioritizing wide receiver early. You did need a little bit of a, like, hey, I can plug this guy into my flex. He's not upside, but he's reliable for a flex, I think. So that's a great pick late, and it matches the team. I just don't like the running backs enough to say that it's going to be a playoff team. Amon-Ra, Debo, Godwin, just didn't get it done at wide receiver. But the running backs are really exciting. Like the first 3 are all rookies, and that's really fun. You got a great quarterback and 2 good tight ends. You got to make some trades, but that's fringe playoff if you play your cards right. I just do not like the receivers. Neighbors, JSN, Garrett Wilson, Hunter, Jaden Higgins is a great start at receiver. Walker, Harvey's upside. Judkins is actually a pretty good pick now that he's going to probably play. Charbonnet's a good pick. Yeah, Sonny's a playoff team again. He's been locked in on our last couple of mock drafts. Can I get to look at Team 10? I just want to be able to highlight their team. Nope, it won't let me do that. Brian Thomas, London, Evans, whoever drafted it left. I think it was Art. So he went total 0 RB with Tracy, B-Rob, and Jalen Warren. He got the 3 running backs that are good to get for what he did. That's probably a playoff team because the receivers are good. But I think he could have stuck the landing in rounds 3 and 4 better. McCaffrey, I mean, this team's going to be a playoff team. I already know with the way it started. Hurts is a top 4 quarterback. Collins, elite. CMC, elite. Decided, hey, I got a great running back, a great receiver. Let's grab Kittle, too. That's the one tight end that's kind of like after the drop a little bit, but he's going to be very, very reliable. Fits this roster well. Collins, Pickens, Mooney, Bateman, Shaquille. Not enough at receiver for me. Don't really like that Bateman's your 4th. And with a rookie running back, it's going to be hard to trust Caleb Johnson or Bashal Tutin in the flex week 1. So may start a little bit slow, but that's a playoff team. And then some. And this is a playoff team. I just love the way he started. I'm assuming I'll like the running backs enough. Puka, Marvin Harrison, J-Mo, Shakir, Pearsall. That's a great wide receiving core. It's kind of 0 RB-ish. It's 0 RB light because you did take Kamara pretty early, but that's like PPR guy. Monty is a safe RB2. I cannot get behind the Scatterbo pick, but you grab Roshan late. You took a late quarterback because you got an elite tight end. Yep, that's a really good team. That's a really good team, and I think we had a really good draft here, guys. Sorry, I guess I didn't realize I was blocking looking at Team 12. Excuse me. I'm going to highlight Team 12 one more time just so people can see what I was looking at there. Yeah, like Team 12, like Team 11. There's a couple others in here that I did really like. I'm going to check the stream numbers right now. If we kind of have died down, which we're down to 11, comment on YouTube right now. Would you guys do another draft if we run one here real quick? I'll go through YouTube comments. Do you keep Josh Allen or Derrick Henry in a keeper league? It depends on the draft pick, Kyle. Depends on the pick compensation. Sonny said that he missed out on Hendo. Yeah, I don't think that should be real, Sonny. Like, you can't expect necessarily to have Henderson as he's a guy that's going to be going anywhere from the 3rd to the 4th to the 5th to the 6th. Probably not the 6th. But you got to know that it's going to be, touch and go when it comes to him because people are really, really hot to trot for him right now. Okay, we got 19 watching. Can anybody like the stream? I mean, I've asked a few times. Can we do it now? If we can get a few likes on the stream, we'll do another mock because we do have people that are in the stream right now. Hit like on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up button. Big Daddy, I know you're in there. I see you're commenting. Unless maybe it just hasn't refreshed on my page. Let's look and see. I'll feel bad for yelling at people if that's true. Yeah, we do. We have 8 likes. Who am I talking about? All right. Sick. Thank you, guys. All right. Yeah, let's go ahead and run one more. Why not? Let me get it lined up. Thank you, guys. I'm going to let y'all know. All right. I'm going to pull up Sleeper. I'm going to do a new mock. And I will send the link. Copy invite link. It's about to be dropped in the YouTube chat. So, and like, if you're watching the stream, you should get every opportunity to join, right? So, like, those are the people that are going to join first. We're going to go. My man, Caleb, is going to get a link. He might be asleep, though. Bro was playing pickleball today. How about that? Join in, grab a spot, try to grab a spot as quick as you can. I don't like how large my face is when I had it there. Grab a spot in the stream. Yeah, and if you do join again, please take a different draft slot than you did last time. If you're in the first one, try to mix it up, which I think the dad already has done. He went from one side of the board to the other, which is great. I'm going to open Discord, going to throw it in there. Probably should make sure I grab a spot myself, but it doesn't look like we're filling super quickly, which is okay. If it's just literally a mock draft with a couple of us, then we'll do it that way. You know, I'll grab 11 just so I claim a spot in my own mock. I think that's an interesting spot. I went from one kind of turn. I'll go to the other now. Posting the mock everywhere I can, and then we'll get it rolling. Appreciate you guys. And if you're just joining us, the link is in the live chat to join this next mock draft. So if you hopped into the YouTube and you happen to land on ours, check it out. Why am I low on Scattaboo? I'll talk about that. Yeah, it's Tracy. It's maybe a little bit of Mizzou bias where, like, when Cam Scattaboo was doing his thing, he reminded me so much, and maybe not just because he's a white guy, but he reminded me so much of Cody Schrader from Mizzou. And so I have continued to say, like just the way he runs, the grit, the whole, like, the story of people kind of doubting him, and then he's really, really good. I feel like Scattaboo is Cody Schrader with just a little bit better PR because he got drafted higher. And I'm just like, I don't know. Tyrone Tracy's a good running back, and the Giants aren't a great offense. I actually like all their individual pieces, but I just don't really, I just don't know that I want the RB2 on the Giants. Is that crazy? I don't think it's that crazy. So that's my thing. Is just, I'm not sure there's enough to go around for Cam Scattaboo to be relevant. In Dynasty, you take your swing. But in year one for him as an NFL rookie, I don't really see it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots to fill. We're not going to wait around. And it's almost midnight anyway, Central Time. So it's probably better to just do it with half a group anyway. Excuse me. But we will take another moment or two. I'm not even going to really bother tweeting it out. Let's probably just rock and roll. I think Caleb probably would have seen it by now if he was going to play. So close that tab out. All right, let's go ahead and get in. We're just gonna kick it off. Here we go. Once I can find the dang button. Here we go. The 6 of us will ride into the sunset together this evening. Pretty standard. Team 7 going with Neighbors. I would have taken Neighbors, but I wasn't getting him at the 11th pick. McCaffrey goes 8. Last time he went 11th. I hate being 11th actually now too, because I don't know how much I can trust Puka Nacua with the situation for Stafford. I don't really know how much I can trust Achane because he's hurt. It's kind of a tough spot to be. I'm thinking about taking Ashton Genty. Let's just do that. Yeah, because I know that my normal running backs aren't going to be sitting there. Let's take Genty, and then we'll take a receiver here. We'll take Puka, Brian Thomas, or, well, we'll take whoever he doesn't take of Puka and Brian Thomas. Achane's normally a great pick for me. You know, I would love to have the guts to take him. Yeah, screw it. Let's take him because, honestly, by the time I draft for real, I'm going to know more about Achane's injury probably. And so let's go Genty Achane and really this time commit. We're not taking Breece Hall unless he gets to us at 5'11", because last time I said, okay, 2 running backs, that's all we're doing. And then I totally took Breece Hall in the 5th round. It was an auto pick situation, but it was because subconsciously I wanted to take him. And actually, if I had it to do over again, I think I'd take him because that was just such a good value. And it kind of set up the rest of my team the way I wanted it to. Taking a look here, I'll try to identify my favorite starts after 2 rounds. We get a Bijan Taylor start, and we got that from the second team in the draft the last time, and now it's coming from Team 5. So we got that from Team. I can't remember where we got that. Yeah, Team 2 had it last time, if I'm not mistaken. Chase McConkey, Chase Brown. That's a fun little 1, 2, 3 for Austin. Fun little deal there. Let's see. Team 5. Bijan Taylor, JSN. Yeah, JSN falling to the middle of the 3rd. That's pretty dang good value. What's that pick? Well, it's fine. Pick 29. I like that Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Allen thing. It's just weird. When you have computers, you have people picking a bunch of quarterbacks before Josh Allen goes. That's not really normal. All right, it's really hard to go double RB from the turn like I did because the receivers, when you get back around, are not really speaking to me in the way that I need them to. I'm going to take a risk that this becomes a really bad mock draft. I'm going to take Jalen Hurts. He's the last quarterback worth a darn. He's not the last quarterback worth a darn, but he's the last one that I think there's a real incentive to take in terms of early. If I don't get one of the first 4, I'm not taking the quarterback unless it's like a round or 2, maybe 2 rounds past ADP. Like a Mahomes, I'd love to have Mahomes. I would need to have Worthy or Rice on my team and him going past ADP to click it. Same thing with Burrow. I would need to have Chase and have Mahomes and have Burrow well past ADP. I gotta take a receiver here because there's no real tight end that's going to speak to me. I'm not going to take Devontae Adams. I probably should, though. Did I miss? No. Barely. I took Smith. I wanted the stack. And I just don't see it. Like, I'm not taking Mike Evans. He's been great for a long time, but someone's going to get caught holding the bag, and it's not going to be me. And it might not be this year, but I'll never draft Mike Evans again. He's just too old. McLaurin, I think it'd be a really fine pick if you have Jaden Daniels. Kind of weirdness in camp with the contract stuff and a little bit banged up, I think. The injury might be fake, though, because of the contract situation. So, I mean, I reached on Smith for sure, but he's someone I really like. By the way, jump into the stream, hit like, and let me know what your thoughts are. I will read the YouTube chat as well. JJ wants to know my RBs are Bijan, Trevion, Tracy, Jalen Warren in a 12-man PPR. I think those are great. I want to know your wide receivers. because I like those running backs for sure, big time. But I need to know the receivers. Let's see. Yep, it pains me to be drafting from the turn like this because the 5th round is where a lot of those receivers go off the board, and they all did. Worthy, Rice, Flowers, Sutton. I have Worthy ranked above Smith, by the way. JMO goes. That just sucks, dude. Give me Travis Hunter, I think, over Pickens, narrowly. But I'm basically shooting the moon right now. I'm shooting for upside with my receiving picks because of how I started without any, and I lost out on all these guys I like. Flowers, Worthy. Really, it's just those 3 and JMO. But I'm going to get Waddle, too, so it's all good, baby. It's all good in the hood. We stuck the landing there. That's what I was saying when I picked Smith. I was like, there's going to be... Oh, by the way, Tedorola McMillan, Brendan, good grief. 4th round, he's a good pick. I should have just taken him 38th overall instead of Smith. But I don't have any ADP. I don't have any like custom rankings set right now. It's just kind of whatever it is on the platform, and so I have a very different process when I'm drafting for real than when I'm doing a mock and talking about it on microphone and camera. But Smith, Hunter, Waddle for like going no receiver in the first 3 rounds. If you're going to go no receiver in the first 3 rounds, you better leave with a really good quarterback or one of the top 2 tight ends. But we'll see. I think I might be okay. My running back should theoretically be very, very strong. I got a quarterback that's in that first tier. Hurts is my least favorite of the first 4 quarterbacks, but I think somewhere subconsciously I knew I wanted to stack him with Smith, so that's why I was so content to take him. And like, really, I should just be willing to take Tedorola McMillan that early if I really like him. But after that, it's like, I'm not into Evans, McLaurin, DJ Moore. DJ Moore's fine. I'm very high on the Bears offense. I don't know if he's going to get phased out. Like, I might rather have a Dunze than DJ Moore this year. I don't know why that is, but something tells me that the DJ Moore thing is going to go off the rails. Remember last year when he was like on the sideline during a play, just like walked off the field?
Come on.
It's weird stuff like that I'm thinking Ben Johnson, if we see more crap like that from DJ Moore, I think DJ Moore might be quickly on the outs. And I don't usually have a lot of takes like that. Like, I'm very fluid, open-minded. There are no such thing as bad players. There's bad picks, though. And, like, at a certain ADP, I'll take just about anybody. But with DJ Moore, I'm like, with where he's going, I would rather have different bears and pay less to get them. All right, I have a quarterback, so I shouldn't be looking there anyway. Damn, we're really up against it, ain't we? Let's reach down for Ricky. Let's take Pearsall. I think Pearsall's the Niner that I want as well. He's got juice, man. He's juicy. He was juicy at Florida. He's my flex here. Again, this is like a little bit less. It's a very punchy wide receiver core. It's less stable than I want my receiving core to be. But I went RB from the turn. Like, that's going to happen. The reason you don't normally go RB from the turn, by the way, and I know I'm almost up again. It's not me now, is it? No. What do you take? Diggs? Is like Gibbs, Barkley, Bijan, CMC go off the board. I don't know that Henry's going to be better than Genty, but like, you've got at least 4 running backs that project to be better than my top running back. And so it's like I'm chasing already at that position group. I am the first person to take 2 running backs, though. But honestly, Bijan Taylor is a much better RB start than the one that I did. So that's where it's kind of like, is this worth it? I'm going to reach all the way down for Jaden Higgins. I friggin' hate that they keep, this Igbuka thing is tough, man. Excuse me. Igbuka is a great pick, but, I mean, he's going earlier and earlier, and where I'm used to just kind of like comfortably taking him to my bench, you're not going to get to. You're not going to get to do that. And frankly, I don't know if I can do it in the 7th with him. I didn't get the choice to try this time or not, so I don't know what I would have done. Probably would have taken him over Pearsall. But when I do think about my lineup, it's like Pearsall's in my lineup. So there's risk associated with, what if the rookie does take some time. On my bench, I love it. That's why I took Jaden Higgins. He was not the top of ADP, but I bet it's going to be a good long while before anybody takes a receiver that I am wishing I would have had over Higgins. It wasn't Godwin. Shakir I like, but I think he's a little banged up. if he were fully healthy, I think that would be, he was a strong consideration when I took Pearsall. But once it's bench mode, it's Higgins for me because I want upside. I don't have to start you week 1, and I want to be able to trade you for something great or, know that I can start you later. Kupp, God bless him, one of my favorite all-time players and fantasy players, but I was not. It's just hard for me to take old guys because by that point, I've already got so many wide receivers on my team. I'm looking for upside and like untapped value. I don't know that Kupp is untapped value. He's value if he's like going to be Kupp of a couple of years ago, and you're getting him in the 8th round. But I mean, if I'm drafting a bench spot, it's not Cooper Kupp. Where I draft Cooper Kupp in the 8th round is if I went Bowers, and then, let's say instead of Achane, I go Bowers, and then Breece Hall drops to me in the 5th, and it's like, all right, he's my RB2. I've got Smith, Waddle, but I need something else at receiver, and it's in my lineup or my flex. Yeah, then it's Cooper Kupp, but not as a bench bat. All right, I've got my quarterback. I'll take a peek at tight end. Otherwise, let's go back and wonder if there's a running back that we really like. I actually do. I'm going to take Zach Charbonnet. I think he is a good 0 RB guy to target as your RB2. In this case, I didn't need to because I've got 2 running backs already, but I like him, and I am trying to figure out exactly how I feel about receivers in this range. Like, that's why I just default to kind of Luther Burden because he's the Mizzou guy. But that's kind of, I feel good about that. This time I'm going to default to Colston Loveland and just take a tight end. Like, if I'm taking one in this range, it's Tyler Warren or it's Loveland, just because I feel like, and again, I know that I literally just took Evan Ingram in this range like an hour ago or half an hour ago, but that was also like maybe the 10th round. It was late. And so normally I wouldn't do that. And the thing with Loveland, like, it could be tricky. Like, if he's not getting playing time or if he's not getting targeted enough, you're going to have to bench a tight end probably and pick up another one. Like, I'm not going to drop Loveland early, but if I'm paying a double-digit price tag for him, I'll figure it out. I'll find a way. There's the QB run. Drake May's a nice one, but I don't have to worry about that this time. I took mine a long time ago. Charbonnet, and then Benson's the next running back I like after that. Never going to draft Dobbins. Never going to draft, I don't say never, but Ramondre. Jaden Blue, I like him if, let's look at Austin's team. He got Chase Brown and he got Trevion. Trevion dropped to the 5th this time, so that's great. And Jaden Blue's the next running back he took, and it's a rookie that is on his bench. That's what you want. But, man, I got to kind of remember where Trey Benson goes because he's another guy that I do like. I just didn't. I think Charbonnet is just a little bit more likely to be punchy for Seattle this year. You know what? I'm going to do something I never do. I'm going to take Goddard because I think we do get 5 bench spots. I feel very good about my top 2 running backs, so I don't need to draft like 5. Maybe I'll take a 4th one. Receiver-wise, I don't have my 6th one yet, and I don't like that. But that'll also give me a chance to now draft like one of these like trendy receivers late. I'll do it here just so I don't. I'm talking like Isaac Tesla or Tesla. I don't know how they say it, but Torrey Horton. I think Horton's kind of banged up right now. Yeah, he's hurt. I don't know what the deal is with him, but whoops, I don't actually want to draft a running back named Torrey. Let's take a running back. Ray Davis, Braylon Allen, all the same cast and crew are here. Garendo, if he was healthy, that would be my answer there. Let's just take Ray Davis, get our 4th running back. I took the 2nd tight end because I like stacking. And so if Loveland is not quite ready, Goddard is a really safe tight end. Normally, I feel like you don't want to have a bunch of tight ends just sitting around on your team. But in this case, I decided it would be fine to have 2. Because I drafted the highest or, tied for the highest, whether you like Warren or Loveland best. A high upside rookie tight end. And so like if he turns into a stud, we're going to know long before the fantasy playoffs. But we also may not know right away. And you may want to have some, like, if I had this real lineup, I would start Goddard week 1. I would be starting 2 Eagles, which is a little bit iffy, but I think they're going to put on a show. What's that opening game? Is that who are they playing for the opening game? For some reason, we're getting glitchy clicks here. Let me check out YouTube. Somebody asked why Bijan won at 5, because he did. Brian, Thomas, Higgins, Ridley, Worthy, J-Mo, Cup, and Waddle. That's a great team, JJ, if that's really your full team. I mean, you got stud receivers, and you got really good running backs. So, a moment or two. Oops. Gonna really bother tweeting it out. Gosh, dadgummit. Yeah, I'm all about that team, JJ. Obviously, we lost the plot here a little bit. Okay, we're back. Sleeper was, like, lagging on me. We never did get a 6 receiver. Did anyone take Torrey Horton? No. Or Tesla? I like either of those guys. As just like a last second flyer kind of thing. And if it doesn't work out, you drop them in a heartbeat. So, I mean, you go Hurts. I explained the whole thing with tight end. I did want to look up who the Eagles play. Are they playing in Brazil? No, that's the Chiefs. The Eagles? Got to be the opening game. They won the Super Bowl. Oh, it's Cowboys. Yeah. Thursday night opener at home. So, yeah, they'll be, I mean, Cowboys have a good defense and stuff, but they also are kind of tumultuous. Got some stuff going on with Micah Parsons. So, I'll start Devontae Smith and Goddard in my lineup for that first one. Genty Achane, my running backs. Great quarterback with Hurts stacked there. We'll be throwing Travis Hunter in there and praying. I think he'll be great, but week 1 could be an adventure. Waddle, Pearsall, we'll start Pearsall over Jaden Higgins. Ray Davis and Charbonnet are fun running backs to have off the bench. And, we grab Torrey Horton at the end just for grins. Let me look at some of y'all's teams. Nico Collins. Let me make sure my face is not in the way of what we're talking about here. All right, let's dive into the teams. Nico, Brian Thomas, Pickens, Diggs is the flex. So that's kind of like what I talked about with Cooper Kupp is like, I don't want to take these old guys, but if I do, it's because I need him in my lineup. And that's what happened here. Diggs would be the flex. Caleb Johnson would be the rookie that you had to draft sooner, but you're not starting in week 1 because you want to see it. You have to start Hampton, but that's probably going to work out just fine. James Cook. Grab Mahomes. I mean, that's okay. That's a fine spot to take him, I think. It's not stacked, but, I don't hate that necessarily. The bench guys or whatever, I don't really, target any of those guys in particular, but I think it's a pretty solid team. Talked a lot about my team. I think I ended up doing okay. It's just hard to get comfortable because I don't normally take like a Genty Achane start. Normally from this side, I'm going like I'm taking the Nico Collins that he took and probably Brian Thomas if he falls back. And if not, like Puka Nacua, I would never let pass me in the second round, but I did. So, anyway. Ren with Amon-Ra, London, Garrett Wilson, J-Mo. Love that foursome. Kamara, I think Ren might have taken Kamara last time too, and that's a flag plant for him. Between Swift and Tracy, you've got a legit RB2, in my opinion. One of them will work out. Rashad White, like PPR, yes, but I would not ever draft him to my bench. Give me upside. He's not taking the job from Bucky Irving, so I wouldn't, unless you just get lucky. I say lucky, like if you have Rashad and Bucky gets hurt, then that's how lucky works. I don't even know if Rashad is 100% healthy, or is it Bucky that's hurt? At any rate, Sean Tucker is the thing there too. That's a good team, though. I like it. Lil Colt, did you follow it up? You had a great first draft. This one's pretty good too. Yeah, Lil Colt and I see the board very similarly. Harrison, McMillan, Worthy, Igbuka, Shakir. I'm not drafting Keenan Allen to my bench, but I get it because you've got Igbuka and you got rookies, so maybe you start Keenan Allen right away. I don't think that's a pick I would be making. Don't really get the Dobbins thing, but a lot of people like him. And I've been wrong before. But CMC, I mean, it's a nice team. And you grab Bowers. You grab Kyler late. That's the way to do it. Right here, we've got another Bijan Taylor start. We got JSN, McLaurin, Sutton, Olave, Cup. Yeah. Caleb late, Fields late. Why not? Take 2 shots at it. Pitts is a solid tight end for how late you took him. That's a playoff team for show. And how did Austin do? Jamar, Ladd, Adams as your 3 while also having these 2 running backs. That's a sick team. It pays to draft first, apparently. Adunze, Golden, Coleman, Warren. Yeah, that looks like a mock draft I would do. Even grab Braylon Allen and the sexy, exciting Krosky Merritt at the end. So, yep, that's another team that I say it's a good team. If it's not, it means I'm going to have a bad season because I would draft a team that looks exactly like that. Lil Colt said, got Dobbins, not 100% on Harvey. Like him, but I don't know who Sean Payton likes yet. Yeah, no, that's fair. And early in the season, I think certainly that could work out. Grant wants to know how I feel about Jonathan Taylor this year. I feel very, very fine about him, but I don't seem to take him. And I'll look at, why that might be. Taylor went, obviously I was not in range for him. Could take him, at the 1-2 turn. I don't think he normally goes there. He often will make it to the back of the second round at times. And he's in that range with Josh Jacobs and Kyron and Chase Brown. I just like Chase Brown so much that I end up usually taking him over Taylor. But I think actually Taylor is of value where he ends up going. Because you could tell me at the end of the year he'll be better than Bucky and he'll be better than Achane and Genty, and I would and you could tell me he'll be better than Henry, and I'll go, yeah, he could be. Yeah, you might be right about that. So I think he's a value, but I can be self-aware enough to know that he's a value that I probably won't have on my team, just because I sometimes like other guys that are better in that range. But if he falls to the 3rd, you bet your ass I'm taking Jonathan Taylor. There's no bad players. There's just bad picks. Or there's picks that I like better than other picks. And on the JJ question, again, about Bijan. Look, I mean, it's full PPR. Chase is the 1-1. Gibbs goes 2 a ton. For me, it's a toss-up between Bijan and Gibbs. I would go Bijan just because I think Gibbs will share more work than Bijan. But they use the crap out of Tyler Algier as well. I can't argue against Saquon. I just don't personally take him. But he's obviously a pick that you take in the top 5. And then, my thing is I love CeeDee Lamb. He's just a dog, and he's a stud. But is he that different to Jefferson, to Neighbors, to Amon-Ra, to Nico Collins, to Brian Thomas? Maybe not. And so, to me, the differentiator is grab that running back. So, yeah, I would go Bijan above Lamb in PPR, knowing where I want to go with receiver later. Don't put myself in a position where I've got to take a Kamara or a Hubbard or a Connor, because I could say, well, I'm not going to take those guys. I'm going to take Trevion. But Trevion Henderson could be picked. And then you're like, well, crap, my whole plan was Trevion Henderson. Don't have a whole plan be one guy that is every person that you run into on the street is going to have a different opinion on when Trevion Henderson needs to be taken. That's the trick with that. You can't necessarily count on, oh, yeah, in the 4th, I do this, because that's a guy that he could go just about anywhere. He could go in the 2nd round, and I wouldn't blink. I wouldn't pick him there, but he might go there. So when you're forming a draft plan, you have to be a little bit careful. Cody said receiving upside, didn't want to take White. Yeah, that's just on your bench, take a guy that when you think about it, you go, if this is going to work out, maybe it's because of an injury, or maybe it's just because this is a rookie talent that we haven't seen yet. And I'd rather take my shot on that guy. Because if you're doing the injury thing with a Rachaad White, when do you drop him for somebody on waivers? That becomes agonizing. If you're holding a rookie, you can go, I can wait because I had a plan with this. He's not, Bashal Tutin is going to be down on the depth chart. Rashad Smith, I'm not saying these are the right, Woody Marks, whoever it is, you can say, I know that eventually his time's going to come. And maybe you don't know that. But you can at least have some logic behind the play. With Rachaad White, you're basically hoping for injury, and that's it. And that's a fine way to play. But the other part of the Rachaad White thing is if there was an injury to Bucky Irving, Rachaad White is not taking 100% of that role. Sean Tucker's going to come in and do that. Yeah, Benson is a guy I like too, Cody. He said that Benson got sniped right before me. I try to do the thing where I build a queue. Once it's 5 people, and this was obviously a stream where we're picking pretty quick. But in a real draft, if I've got okay, there's 5 picks before me, I don't start the process until I know it's going to be one that I think is fruitful. Because if there's 7 picks to go and I only like 6 guys, just don't think about it. Just don't look at it yet. Just like breathe for a minute, because you're just going to piss yourself off if you're like, okay, I starred my 6 and then none of them make it to you. Then you're going to tilt your face off. Instead, I go, let's wait until there's like 4 or 5 picks left. And then I go, I think I've got 6 guys and there's only 5 picks left. And then you cue them, and that way you're ready. That's my strategy. Different strokes for different folks, but that's kind of how I approach it. And if I'm at the turn, I'm cueing those guys going, oh, let's try to get both of them, but we really want to get one, right? And then if you get the first one, but you run out of starred players, you go, okay, let's take a moment, build another little mini queue, and then you can wait. You can kick back. When you're on the turn, you can kind of wait. When you're in the middle, you have to be ready to jump on ADP value. So that's another thing that's kind of really difficult. But yeah, man, I think we had a lot of fun with this. I want to do more videos where I'm like talking to you guys, because I haven't been able to really read the comments when I'm talking about your picks and stuff. But let me know what you guys think of the channel and stuff like that. If you want to play a fantasy league with me, I'll put it in. I mean, it's at bschaefer12 is my Twitter. Send me a direct message on Twitter and say, hey, I was in the stream tonight, and if I'll tell you what different leagues I've got. There's different buy-ins and stuff like that, but there's some fun leagues, dude. So if you want that, we can kill 2 birds. I can get some people that have had fun on here with me into real leagues with me, and I can not have to be searching still to fill these leagues, because I've run 4, 5, 6 leagues for a long, long time, and I've just every year there's a couple spots where someone says, I can't do it, whatever. And so I just fill it with, people I play with. So that's going to do it, though, for the stream. I like this kind of stream. And maybe next time, I'll just have people pepper me with questions. You just don't know if you're going to get people watching the stream or not. And so it's easy to have, like, the mock draft sort of be the main thing. But I appreciate you guys for sure for tuning in. And make sure you hit that subscribe button before you get out of here. Appreciate you guys as always. And we'll talk to you next time on the channel.